This podcast is sponsored by the online course, Intro to Psychology, with Dr. Bo Bennett, PhD. Uncover the secrets of the human mind and transform your life at introtopsych.com. Start your journey today.
Social Influence Psychology Experiments Explained Intro to Psychology Insights. Explore classic social influence psychology experiments that reveal why we conform, obey authority, and how the bystander effect works in everyday life. Hey, have you ever wondered why people sometimes do things just because others around them are doing it? Like maybe you're at a concert and everyone starts doing a wave, and suddenly you find yourself standing up and waving your arms too without really thinking about it. That's a perfect example of social influence at work, and it's one of the most fascinating areas in psychology. So today, I want to talk about some classic social influence psychology experiments. These studies reveal just how powerful the presence and expectations of others can be on our thoughts and actions. And hey, if you like this kind of stuff, keep in mind that you can get a fuller picture by enrolling in the Intro to Psychology course by Dr. Bo Bennett on the verversity.com platform. It's a great way to really understand human behavior through psychology education. What is social influence anyway? In simple terms, social influence happens when other people shape how we think, feel, or act. It's a big deal because we're social creatures by nature. Sometimes influence happens consciously, like when you try to fit in. Other times it's subtle, like when a crowd's mood unconsciously affects your mood. Psychologists have long been curious about the mechanisms behind this, which is where those famous experiments come in. The Asch conformity experiments. I bet you've heard about the Asch experiments. These took place in the 1950s and were among the first to really showcase how strong conformity pressure can be. Here's what happened. Participants were in a room with several actors who intentionally gave wrong answers to a simple visual task, matching line lengths. The real participant didn't know that the others were Confederates and had to answer last. Even when the answer was super obvious, many people went along with the wrong group answer. This study brilliantly showed how the need to fit in or avoid standing out can override basic perception. People often mistrust their own eyes just to avoid conflict or rejection. From a Psychology 101 perspective, it's a beautiful example of normative social influence, conforming to be liked or accepted. Stanley Milgram's obedience study. Now, this one is a bit more intense. In the early 1960s, Milgram wanted to understand obedience to authority, especially after World War II and the question of how people could commit atrocities under orders. In his setup, participants thought they were delivering electric shocks to another person whenever that person answered a question incorrectly. The shocks were fake, but the participants didn't know that. The surprising finding was that a majority kept administering shocks up to what they believed were dangerous levels just because the experimenter said to continue. Milgram's experiment revealed something pretty unsettling but important. People often obey authority figures, even against their own morals. This psychological concept is critical in understanding real-world events where authority or peer pressure influences behavior drastically. The bystander effect and the Kitty Genovese case. You might have heard of the bystander effect, which was inspired by a real tragedy, the murder of Kitty Genovese in the 1960s. She was attacked in public, and reportedly many witnesses didn't intervene or call for help immediately. Psychologists led by Bibla Tanay and John Darley conducted experiments showing that when more people are present, individuals feel less personal responsibility to act. This is known as diffusion of responsibility. Their studies often involved staged emergencies where they measured how quickly or whether someone would help. The results blew people away. The more bystanders present, the less likely anyone was to help, which sounds counterintuitive but aligns perfectly with social influence theories. Why do these experiments matter? These classic studies help lay the foundations of social psychology and show us how powerful external social forces are. They aren't just old dusty research notes. They help explain everyday psychology topics like peer pressure, decision-making, and obedience. They also play an essential role in psychology education by illustrating psychological concepts in real-life contexts. Plus, understanding these dynamics can be incredibly empowering. Imagine you know about the bystander effect. You might be more likely to step up in an emergency rather than assuming someone else will. Or if you're aware of conformity pressures, you might think twice before doing something just because everyone else is. Wrapping up. So if you're curious about human behavior and want a solid intro to psychology, these social influence experiments are a great starting place. They give you a snapshot into the forces that quietly shape our actions every day. And if you want to expand your knowledge from these Psychology 101 fundamentals to more advanced concepts and theories, checking out the Intro to Psychology course by Dr. Bo Bennett on theversity.com is a smart move. It's designed to be accessible and engaging for anyone interested in understanding what makes us tick. Trust me, investing your time in this course can illuminate so many aspects of your daily life by showing you how subtle psychological concepts operate. Enroll now to understand human behavior better and make more sense of the social world around you.